One more time. My name is Carlton Cartwright. I'm the Executive Director for Veterans Memorial and Multicultural Histories Incorporated. Today is October 20th, and we are here at Riviera Beach Preparatory Achievement Academy. And sir, what is your name?
Clifford Williams.
Okay, we also have at the interview, we have several students. We've got, Miss, what's your name over there?
Cameron.
Mary Beth.
Mark. And sir, what is your name?
My name is Clifford Williams.
Mr. Williams, okay. And when is your birthday?
October.
Okay. Okay. And what city do you live in?
I live in Boynton Beach.
Okay, good. All right. What branch of the service were you in?
I was in the Army.
Okay. And what year, from what year to what year?
Went in '79, I think I got out in '81.
What state were you living in when you went into the military?
I was living in Florida.
Okay. All right. And did you go through Miami?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Where did you go to basic training?
I went to Fort Bliss, Texas.
Okay. What were you doing before you went into service?
I was in college.
You were in college?
Yeah.
Where were you going to school?
I was going to PBJC at the time. That's what they used to call it.
Palm Beach Junior College, I got it.
Yes.
Where, in Lake Worth?
Lakewood.
Uh-huh. And what were you majoring in?
Right then, I think it was communications. I didn't really have a major, or because it was around my first year.
Right.
So I was still just trying to figure out what position I wanted to take in life.
Right. Okay, so oh, simple. Okay. All right, so you didn't have a degree when you entered the service?
No.
No. All right, so what was your first duty base?
My first duty base was in Korea.
Well, okay, I apologize. Where did you go to basic training?
Fort Bliss, Texas.
Texas. How long were you there?
I was there for approximately 6 months, 4 to 6 months.
Really? Why so long?
I did my AIT then.
Oh, you did your MOS also?
Yes.
Your job?
Yes.
So tell us about basic training. What was it like?
It was rigorous, you know. Back in that time, it's not like the new service. I was in the old service. We still had the Jeeps and stuff like that. I had it was exciting. It was, I enjoyed it a whole lot. We had a lot of, my drill sergeants, they were special forces.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, out of all the platoons, we pulled the drill sergeants that was special forces, so you could tell that we had to do a lot of work. And, you know, they stayed on us, but it helped out a whole lot once I got to my permanent duty.
Gotcha. Were there any casualties that you know of while you were going through basic training? How long was basic training? About 8 weeks, 6 weeks?
It was 8 weeks.
Okay. And you said AIT. What was your specialty?
I was hot missile crewman.
You were what?
Hot missile crewman.
What was that? What does that mean?
That was 88. We fought, we worked on the hills, and we usually, when you had F-14s or scared, you know, MiGs, we usually, we were there, if we got a call and say you had let's see, say like some planes coming.
Right, from the other side, you mean?
Yes.
Because I remember you said you were in the, when we're going to talk about you were in the Korean conflict, correct?
No, I wasn't in any conflict.
Okay, good.
But that's what I'm saying, because it was minimal, because I didn't have any we didn't go through any war like procedures.
No combat.
No combat.
Okay, but you still had exercises.
Yeah, we had exercises that we would do. We only had a couple of times that we had some North Korean planes come over, and but we didn't have to fire any missiles. So.
Okay. So how long was that AIT? That must have been how many months?
AIT was 2 months.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what was the extent of that? What did all that training involve?
It involved my job for one. We had to, at that point we had to use a lot of sort of loaders to put the missiles on top of the launchers. So we had a lot of things that you guys look like the ATM machines,
Right.
four-wheelers, and they had mechanical hands and stuff like that. So we had to learn all that, you know, in order to operate, because those missiles were pretty big, and we had to load them on the launchers. So.
Okay. Were there any casualties that you know of in during that your MOS training?
We had casualties as far as we had the enemy coming over, because I was up on the DMZ, so we constantly had, that was back in the time when they had those tunnels they was building coming through the mountains.
Who, the Koreans?
The North Koreans.
Oh, the North Koreans.
And so what they would do, they would invade some of the bases, you know.
Okay.
And there were small casualties, not really major.
Okay, so you're saying people weren't, nobody, you said so, okay, nobody was severely injured.
Nobody, no.
Okay, what kind of injuries?
I would say, you know, probably wounded, a couple of gunshots.
Oh, really?
You know, stuff like that. Yeah, we had small incidents that we would come in conflict with the North Koreans. They would bring the tanks to the lines. You know, being up in the DMZ, you experience a lot of small incidents.
Right.
You know, and like I said, we had a lot of invasions. They were coming through. They were building tunnels, and a lot of times the K9s, the MPs and the K9s.
Right.
Yeah, they kept them on wild alert. So a lot of times that was used to.
So there was a certain amount of engagement. Anyway, there was some combat.
A lot of engagement. A lot of engagement.
How long were you? Okay, so after basic training, you went to Korea, and how long were you there? How long was your tour?
I was there for a year.
A year.
Yeah.
Okay, and did you hopefully were you ever wounded?
No.
Okay, any of your close buddies? You.
Not on our compound. We got minimum. Well, we were, because we were ADA.
What is ADA?
ADA.
What is that?
Air, land to air missiles.
Land. Oh. Gotcha. LAM.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, what does ADA stand for?
Right now I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
But that's what we were. We were ADA. You know what I'm saying? Our patch was a fist with a lightning bolt on the inside.
Right.
And that's what that's what basically what we did was we were on the ground, but when we went to work, we had to go up to a mountain every morning.
Right. Okay, and thanks. You had to go to a mountain every morning?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, well, that's where we launched from. We launched from, we had to launch from a high position. So all our missiles were...
How long did it take you to get to the mountain?
Probably maybe one. I'm going to say one hour.
Take an hour?
Yeah.
Was it...
Once we leave the barracks and we headed to our station, you know, we had to go through the villages, had to go through the towns, and then we would get to the mountain, and then we would...
When you were traveling through those areas, were you at risk of being attacked?
I didn't find anybody in that, you know, in our area where we were.
Yeah.
They were sort of friendly.
Okay.
So the people in the villages were friendly, and they were small villages, because we called it the sticks.
Right.
And we basically, Seoul was, I think, about 200 miles from us. So you had real small villages that we would pass through, and they were mostly like farm villages.
Right. Okay. By the way, I forgot to ask you: were you drafted or were you enlisted?
I enlisted.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the people who were on the economy, they were friendly.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Most of the people in our area.
So, okay, up to that point, by the way, how was the food?
Oh, the food was great.
And okay.
You know, like we have, like you guys go to Chinese restaurants and stuff like that.
Right.
So we had the original, like anywhere else, we had the original food. Sometimes we were warned about certain foods that you were not, you know, they would warn us about not eating when you go down in the village because, you know, you could contract any kind of bacteria or whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
So you had to be careful about what you ate and where you went to eat it.
Yes.
Okay.
There were certain meats, you know, that they wouldn't specifically say that, you know, authorize that for us to eat, because, you know.
Right. Okay. Let me see. There was another question that I had missed. Oh, why did you join the Army?
At the time I was in college, like I said, and I was struggling.
Okay.
And you know, I had siblings, my parents, and stuff like that. So basically, to take some of the pressure off them, I just said, well, you know, I go to the military because they was offering, offering money for schooling. You know, once you finish, or
right,
you could take up, you know, whatever courses you needed to take up
so
while you were in school.
Good benefits.
Good benefit, yeah, very good benefit. They're probably a little bit better now, but you know, at that time,
right,
it helped in the struggle, you know.
Okay. Okay. Good. So, did you have any problems ever staying in touch with your family while you were in Korea?
No, I didn't. I did have an incident though. I was not the kind of person that writes home a lot. Right. You know, a call. Well, yeah. we didn't have cell phones. Oh, we had the little phones that you had to crank. Yeah. Okay. And, that's how we spoke, and most of our phones, where we were, since we were so far up on the DMZ, we had to go to Seoul in order to call back to the United States. Wow. Yeah, we didn't have any.
And how far was it to get? How far away were you from Seoul?
We were about 200 miles from Seoul.
Okay. Did you have to fly there?
No, we would drive.
Oh, how long did it take to drive?
Oh, it took a couple of hours, maybe.
That was it?
4 hours, yeah.
Okay. So you may take about 4 hours?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like I said, maybe I exaggerate a little bit. Maybe it wasn't that far, but
okay.
From the DMZ and Seoul was almost Osan and Seoul.
Right.
That's where you came into Korea when you first get there.
Right.
You know, you come into Seoul so basically the battalion that was there, that was the hospital. If you had medical reasons, school, and whatever you had was the main battalion was in Seoul.
Okay. All right, so you had, okay, so you said there was an incident or something happened as far as you contacting your family?
That incident was, I had the Red Cross had to contact me.
Right.
Because they said that my family was worried about me and they wanted to know what was going on. And I hadn't contacted them for like a couple of months. But it was just the fact that I think I was just having a pretty good time, and you know,
you enjoying yourself away from home.
Yeah.
How dare
you? I'm not the one to get homesick. You know, I was kind of. It was kind of, you know, fun being on the other side of the world. Right. And you know, seeing all these other things. So sometimes you get lost in the moment. You know, and you know, I was with a lot of friends. I had friends from New York. Had friends from Chicago and different places, and people were always constantly coming in and out of the battalion. So, you know, you stay kept pretty busy. Right. On the job and off the job. So.
Speaking of which, R&R, where else did you get to travel while you were in that part of the world?
Japan.
Oh, really? What city in Japan?
Tokyo. I was in there because, you know, it wasn't I wasn't there in Japan to stay. I wasn't stationed there. So it was just like a visit.
How many times did you get to go? Just once?
Twice.
Twice?
Yeah. And one time leaving, as I was leaving Korea.
Okay. And tell me about that experience. What was it like?
Well,
How were the people?
Like I said, back in the 70s,
Right.
so it's totally different than it is now.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, now you have it's more technology and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, when I was over there, it was saying like it was like you're leaving here and maybe going to Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
Or Miami or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't technically
Advanced as it is today.
Yeah, it wasn't advanced like
I got
that.
you. Okay, in the interim, do any of you have any questions you'd like to ask him at this point?
You ever seen somebody get blown up?
Good.
That's not, you know, back in my time, like now, the way they are now I guess is in the Middle East, you know, they have a lot of bombs and a lot of fighting and excursions with different people, but over there, basically, the last war, I think previous was the Korean War.
Mm-hmm.
And most of that stuff that they had, you know, landmines and stuff like that, they had evacuated most of that stuff. So we didn't run into too much danger.
So they removed all that dangerous ordnance.
They removed it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So after that year in Korea, okay, before we leave Korea, anything memorable that else, you know, anything else that you'd like to speak on that you know struck you as a heavy memory?
The people were very nice.
Uh-huh.
The Asian people are very nice. They're very hospitable. The period of time that I spent over there, basically, if you're say like you're going out partying at night, and you may be walking by, they call them mom and pops. They call them the little joints like that. And say you might be walking by a store, and somebody maybe they're older guy, old Asian guy or something, and they would be like, hey, come over here, you know, have dinner or have a drink or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know, most of the time we would have to accept because it was like a great loss of faith if you
It's an insult.
It's an insult if you refuse. Thank you. It was an insult if you refuse. So we would come in and the families would be there and we would go in and you know, maybe have dinner or something like that. But very hospitable people, you know, sometimes just have a drink, you know, and they ask us questions about America and stuff like that. And you know, once you finish, you bow out and go, you know, you continue on your path. You know, wherever you're going. If you're going down in the village, just going to hang out, or you know, we had pools, we had everything that we had here.
Okay.
You know, so a lot of times, you know, it was just an eye-opening experience.
Good.
You know, being in a different country.
Sounds like it was very positive.
Yeah.
So where did you go after Korea?
I came back here. I was back in Texas, but I had surgery done on my leg.
Where were you at in Texas?
I was in Bliss.
Oh, back to Bliss, Fort Bliss?
Yeah.
And so you had to come back for medical reasons?
Yeah, yeah.
And what was the problem?
That was my knee. I had surgery done on
And what happened to your knee?
it was, I guess you could call it an injury that I sustained on the job. But it was something that, you know, once they detected it, I had to have an operation done.
Mm-hmm.
So I did an operation. I think I stayed in there in the hospital for maybe a month.
Right.
And then I had to do rehabilitation. Rehabilitation was you know, I take my hats off to these football players and stuff like that. Because once I had the surgery, and I was in there for a couple of weeks, and they had my leg on the, you know, sitting up on the steps and stuff. And once they took the cast and the bandages and stuff off, I couldn't walk.
Wow. Okay.
You know, so I had to go through the procedures where, you know, you had the things where you walk along. You know, first you got to crawl before you walk.
Right.
And so, you know, it took, you know, a couple of different procedures that I had to go through, and the rehabilitation and stuff like that. And
right.
It was, you know.
So you sustained a disability.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So,
okay. So how long were you in Fort Bliss this time before you went to your next duty station?
I didn't, after I got out of the hospital.
Right.
That's when I got out of the service after that.
Okay, okay. What did you do when you left, so you separated in Texas?
Yeah.
Where did you go after that? When you separated?
I came back to Florida, and then I moved to New Jersey.
Okay, and what did you, how long did you come back to Florida?
Well, I stayed here for a couple of months. Like I said, I was still, you know, after I had rehab for the leg.
Right.
It was healing, and you know, basically, I was mobile, and I could do certain things. I couldn't do a lot of things, but I could do, you know, average stuff, just getting around.
Okay.
And from that, I connected with my uncle, which he was a captain in the Army, but he was out, and he was living up in New Jersey, and I moved up with him.
Okay.
So, you know.
So, okay, that's why you went to New Jersey.
Yeah.
So what did you do after you got to New Jersey?
Nothing but help him out.
Help him out with what?
He had a business. He had a local business that he was doing. He did real estate. He had a couple of NASCARs.
Wow.
You know, he had different stuff. He was working with a guy from Africa. They were talking about opening a company where they would ship different meat products and stuff like that back over to Africa. Now, which country I didn't know. Okay. Because I only rode to Manhattan with them, you know, a few times.
Okay.
But that was the initial goal.
Right.
Was you know, to open up a produce country and ship stuff to Africa and stuff like that.
So how long did you stay in New Jersey?
Oh, I stayed there a couple of years.
Okay, and then what did you do after that?
I moved back here, and once I got back here, I probably had completely healed after then, because one of my reasons was going to Korea or going over on the Asian side was I practiced karate back in that time too.
Okay.
So I wanted to see how it was done over there, basically, and you know, at that time the only way I'd be able to travel or go and see, you know, most of these things was with the military.
Okay.
And so I got a chance to go over there and practice. So by the time I got back and after the injury, I started back, you know, with my karate with Pop Win.
Oh, okay.
From here in Revere Beach.
My cousin.
Yeah. So I was with Pop. And what happened was by the time I came back, you know, I started back practicing again. We started going to tournaments, teaching different classes and stuff like that. And, you know, I don't know if I could advertise this, but, you know, this is the school. This is the school that we're teaching now. We have a class that we run at Delray Beach.
Oh, okay.
At Pompey Park.
No, that's okay. That's fine. Okay. Okay, so you were, so you left New Jersey after a couple of years. You came back here. And then did you use your GI Bill for anything?
You know, for a house, I think I went back, I don't know if I used it for my college, because I only had so much money. I had money taken out, a lot, man, you know, and put into a college fund. Right. I did go back to school, you know. I think I used up my money that I had in there.
Did you finish your degree?
No, I still didn't get that. I still didn't get that degree. I still miss it, Mr. Cartwright.
Okay.
You know, because I started working with, you know, with the karate. I started working with Motorola. Okay. And stuff like that.
How long were you with Motorola?
I was there for about 15 years.
Oh, okay. So you retired from there, but.
Basically, when they, once they moved overseas, and they took most of the corporation and started spreading it around different places, they gave us a severance pay. Yeah. And yeah, we went from there, you know. Okay.
Okay. So after Motorola, what'd you do? I'm trying to make bridge the gap, get into the school district. But what happened after that?
We had a couple of businesses. My family, you know, we had a business, King Records and Tapes, It was on 45th Street.
Uh-huh.
And we used to, we had a plastic bin. We didn't have the CDs. So I think it was 12-inch albums, stuff like that.
Okay.
Cassette tapes, stuff like that. So we sold those, and then we eventually opened up, and we had a video store that was added to it. And I worked there. You know, basically we had two stores. We had one in West Palm, and we had one in Revere.
Okay.
And I worked in the one in Revere, and we earned enough money to open up another one in Boynton, and then I started working the one in Boynton.
Okay. So after that, school district?
School district.
And what led you to the school district? Well, how'd you wind up here?
A friend of mine, you know, karate is a thing where you have a lot of friends.
Yeah, you had a network.
Yeah.
Right.
So what happened was one of the guys was leaving, and they asked me. They said, "Hey, would you, would you do this for me?" Because what we had did was we had the after-school program. We started one of the after-school programs in Palm Beach County. We was the first class as far as the stuff that they used to offer.
Right.
You know, they had many things that they used to offer, but we started off with karate. And so every week we would go to different schools, and we would have classes. And so the guy that I was working with, he decided he was leaving, and he asked me, he said, would I come do something for him?
Right.
And I started working with Miss Hubbard Williams. And basically she was like, would you want to come aboard? And I said, okay. And from that point on, they signed me into to the school board. I've been there ever since.
So are you an actual police officer?
No. No.
Okay.
I worked, when it started out, I wasn't with the police force at all.
Okay.
And they eventually moved my position to the police area.
Gotcha.
And, they started expanding, I guess, due to some of the incidents that started happening in the school.
Right.
So they took, they started opening up these different departments, and so they just moved me in that area.
Okay. Back to the military, did you ever experience any racial incidents during your career?
I mean, because of that time frame.
Yeah.
And
in the 70s.
Yeah. So there was still, it wasn't one that you could basically say that it was black and white. Once I found out, once I got into the military, and you're in a situation like we were on the DMZ, and you're in a situation, you depend on that person that's on the side of you,
right,
or that person that's in your platoon. So you never know who you will be grouped up with, and eventually, our compound was very small, so we didn't have any racial tension.
Right.
We depended on each other.
Gotcha.
We needed help, or you needed somebody to pull, a duty, or help you with a duty or something like that. Most of the guys, we were there for each other, so
okay,
we didn't have to worry about too much racial tension.
Cool.
And plus, we were small.
I got two more questions for you. Did your military experience influence your thinking about war or about the military in general?
War, we had a couple of incidents. I was there when I think it was Carter went over, and
President Carter?
Yeah, and they put the mines on our side when he was supposed to go and meet with the father, Kim Dang. So we had to go on full alert.
Right.
Because they had mines, they put mines on our side when our president was over there.
Okay, on that, what had numbers? That parallel?
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about in Korea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 57 parallel or something like that.
Exactly.
But that was just I want to say, that was just an incident that I don't, because once we went on full alert, we would section off to if anything would occur, you know, that we would go into combat mode. Once the president left from over there, and they found out that, you know, it was just an isolated incident, you know. I couldn't tell you it really was, you know, it didn't turn out to be anything bad.
Any casualties?
No casualties.
Good news. Last question. How did your service and experiences affect your life?
Oh, very, very, very well. I met a lot of people, and I got to travel a lot, so most of the people that I met was from all over the United States. And I met a couple of people from the Virgin Islands. We had a couple of people, you know, from different countries that you know, once we were in there, you meet people from all over, you know, especially the United States. You know, I had friends from California, I had friends from, like I said, Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, you know, Virgin Islands. You know, it was a good experience.
Okay.
You know.
All right, well, I want to thank you for a great interview, and I also want to thank you for your service.
All right.
Okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much.